continuamos con las charlas en el C-Level Forum de Transformación Digital B del 7º Congreso Latinoamericano, Tecnología y Negocios, América Digital 2022. Nuestra siguiente charla se titula Los 3 superpoderes para impulsar su transformación digital: velocidad, escala y mentalidad. El panelista será Bart, de Holanda, Chief Evangelist de Software AG. Bart es Chief Evangelist y es responsable de la amplificación de los mensajes centrales de Software AG en torno a la visión, la misión y cartera de productos. Bart comenzó su carrera en TI después de graduarse en Administración de Empresas y tiene más de 25 años de experiencia en el campo, en particular en IoT y Real-Time Analytics. Actualmente, Bart es una fuerza impulsora detrás del recién formado Software AG Era Championship, la primera serie de carreras de Fórmula Junior totalmente eléctrica del mundo, para promover la inclusión, la diversidad y la sostenibilidad en el automovilismo. Bart es colaborador habitual de los blogs populares y escritor de artículos para sitios web como Big Data Quarterly. Bart.
Hey, thank you.
Good luck.
Thank you. Welcome all. Are you enjoying yourself at American Digital? Good sessions? Okay, good. I hope that this session is as interesting. My story is about speed, scale, and mindset, and I think that there are the 3 superpowers that you need to achieve to accelerate your digital transformation into a truly connected world. My name is Bart Schouw, I'm a chief evangelist. And as a chief evangelist, I like to tell stories, but I also like to read them. So just that you know, I came from the Netherlands, long trip in the airplane, and I'm right now reading science fiction. I love science fiction. It's talking about the future. It's talking about what is possible. So if you want to read a good science fiction book, it's called Children of Time. Can absolutely say buy it. But the thing that actually I wanted to point out is that I noticed it's adored with an award from Arthur C. Clarke. I'm not sure if you know Arthur C. Clarke. This is the guy, and he was a science fiction writer, but also an inventor. He invented the communication satellite. So a pretty smart guy, I think. If you want to know what he wrote, his book 2001, A Space Odyssey, is the most famous one. And he has a quote that I want to start my conversation with today. Any sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic. Okay? So for today, my story will have 3 chapters. I want to talk about where is the magic today in our society. You know, where's the innovation happening? And then I want to talk about the connected world. And can it be an evolution or should you have a revolution? Revolutions are dangerous, you all know that. And then finally, I want to talk about what's the relationship of the 3 superpowers to the connected enterprise. So let's go. Our world. Okay, what is making the magic possible today? My premise for today is that it's actually software. Software is actually behind much of the magic that we see in our world. And just to name one is what I think is really interesting is what I call the super experience. And the super experience for me is the evolution in customer experience. It's the next step. And where can you see this happening? Well, one of the industries where you see it happening is retail. So in retail, there is a new category rising called the on-demand grocery delivery, the express delivery. It's amazing, isn't it? You go online, you order, and within 10 minutes, not the next day, within 10 minutes, there's somebody ringing your doorbell and delivering the stuff to you. Can you imagine that? Could you imagine that 10 years ago? So I'm not sure how this is in Chile right now, but in Europe, this is a fierce competition. I mean, just look at all the names. I believe you have Glovo over here trying to do that, and you have the Ubers, but the big names. And Gorillas, for instance, a startup in Germany, reached unicorn level, that means a 1 billion evaluation in just 10 months. Okay, so how do they do that? What's there behind it? Well, first of all, of course, you need funding. You need lots of money. So you get it from your venture capitalist. Okay, that's easy. You just talk to say, I have a bright idea, let's go sell, let's go bring retail stuff very fast. And then you have to spend it. So you spend it on marketing, get your name out there. But now it's getting interesting. In order to onboard those people that fast, you need frictionless apps. Okay, that needs to be, of course, a good experience. But not only that, you not only need that very nice customer experience on the mobile app, now it needs to go to the next level. It needs deep integration, end-to-end integration. Because once you order, it has to go straight through to the guys that's picking, and you have to make sure that you have the people en route that can deliver this. And to do that really fast, they're even applying AI. Okay, because some of those guys are already starting to pick before you have completed your order, because the AI is determining the chance that you actually will complete your order. All just to get to it in those 10 minutes. So very nice kind of environment where you see happening that the customer experience is evolving to a super experience, and carving out a whole new category. But it is, as you can see, a very demanding kind of case. Now, somewhere else, okay, what I think is happening, what I see, is the evolution of the business model. And I'm seeing now a new super business model evolving. And it's actually copied from the online cloud world, where you can buy nowadays software as a service, SaaS. And they're copying this now in the physical world. And they call it everything as a service. Have you already experienced it? Well, in the Netherlands, I have a good example. This is a startup called Homey, okay? And what they do, they even put it on the website. They say, don't buy our washing machine. Why? Because they want you to rent it. And not only rent it per month, no, you only pay when you're using it. That's a nice model. Only pay when you use it. That's free access to a washing machine. And it's not only in the consumer world that's happening, it's actually going to be very big in business as well. This is one of our customers, Gardner Denver. They make air compressors. And what they do, they sell those air compressors as air as a service. You only pay for the air that you generate. Wow. No more upfront investment. I only will use the air that they use. That's very efficient from a consumer perspective. But as you can imagine, this has some consequences. First of all, you as the provider of that machine get greater responsibilities, because you not only sell it, now you have to maintain it during the lifetime as well, because if it doesn't work, you are not making any money. So that's an important thing to do. Your financial risk increases, because you don't have only the upfront money, you are actually locked in now to the customer to be successful, because the more he uses it, the more you get. But if he is not using it anymore, where is the money coming from? Digital transformation is also a big point, of course, because now you have to have your processes connected more closely. You have to be connected to the machines in order to meter the usage and to bill appropriately. So that is a big transformation going on as well. Your sales models have to change, because your sales guy is used to sell something up front, say for $1 million, such a machine, gets a big incentive, goes party, happy. But yeah, you are not getting the $1 million anymore. You get that money over the lifetime of the machine. So how are you going to motivate your sales to sell in this way? And of course, it's very ecosystem intensive. You need IoT platform vendors, you need connectivity vendors, you need all kind of other people helping you to achieve this. So, fantastic opportunity to grow, but it's also a very complex situation. And finally, what I see is the rise is emulgating all this into a kind of what I call the super, let's click one more time, the super ecosystem. We see that digitally. I mean, who has heard about WeChat in China? That's not only an app where you do instant messaging. It is finance, it is, what is it? It is billing for your pay, for utilities, it's dating, it's government services, it's a kind of a super app. But what we also see now, that this is happening in the physical world as well. So we see that in order to keep up with the innovation levels, and in order not to be disrupted to those digital juggernauts, companies are now starting to understand, before somebody disrupts my industry, let's work together, let's set standards, and let's share the cost of innovation. And for instance, in Germany, we are working together with a conglomerate of companies which are creating an ecosystem called Adamos, and which are companies that are in manufacturing of machines, machine manufacturers, very advanced ones. And they are sharing the investments in IoT platform, they are sharing the investments in innovations for applications, just to set standards and to make sure that other companies can't disrupt their business. Okay. So while the first one is demanding and complex, if a super ecosystem hits your industry, it is very disruptive. Okay? So this new world, this connected world, this truly connected world is interesting, but it's also demanding, disruptive, and complex. So how are you going about? What's your plan if the competition is hitting you with a super experience? What's your plan if the competition is hitting you with a super business model? Can you survive through evolution, or will that be a revolution to you? What's it going to be? What do you think? Now, I want to give you a perspective, okay? And I want to take nature into play. You all have heard about Darwinism, survival of the fittest. Yes. Okay, good. Survival of the fittest. That takes a long time, isn't it? That takes centuries. You can't wait like that long. I mean, competition is at the doorstep. You have to do something fast. Now, interestingly enough, I was reading an article of Professor Schildhuisen, who is a professor in the University of Leiden in the Netherlands, and he introduced the term urban Darwinism, because he is looking at evolution in urban cities and how species are evolving. And here's some very interesting examples. For instance, this is the Anola lizard, beautiful lizard, living in Costa Rica, in the jungle. But due to the cities that are expanding, they have now to survive in concrete environments. And that is hard, because concrete is very slippery. So they die by falling down. And now what he found out is that in the course of 20 years, 15 generations only, they radically transformed. And they transformed their feet in such a way that they can climb 3 times faster. So that is the lizard on there that's coming from the jungle, and this is his 15 generations later sibling that is actually running on concrete. So you're looking from downwards on a slope of 60 degrees. Okay, so this is a 60-degree slippery slope. And that little bugger over there is climbing 3 times faster in just 15 generations. So that's incredible kind of evolution in a very short time. Same thing for US cliff swallows. They used to become roadkill for cars. But in just 30 years, they have increased their wingspan to a point that they can now do radical dodges, and they can survive. I mean, in nature, 30 years, nothing. So that is really radical. So what do I want to say with this? In order to survive and thrive in this connected world, you don't necessarily need to go to a very dangerous revolution. I think that you can survive by evolve your existing qualities. Just like that lizard evolved his feet to superior feet, and that swallow evolved his wings. So evolve your qualities until it becomes your superpower, okay? Now, what kind of superpower could you evolve? Now, imagine that your IT system is your backbone, okay? And it's a backbone made of all kinds of spines. So your systems, your data, your software, your technology, that's the whole stack. That's the backbone of your IT system. But the issue is, of course, that has been evolving over many years and is a little bit siloed and fractured. And to make it even worse, your partner has done the same. A lot of duplication over there. And if you're in the B2B, your customer probably has done that as well. Now, in order to make this super experience happening, that's really hard in such a fractured and siloed environment, let alone be business models or the ecosystem. Really, really brittle environments, isn't it? That's what you always perceive. So in order to evolve your qualities, what you have to do, you have to evolve your backbone into a digital backbone that allows free flow of data. And if you do that, you become a truly connected enterprise. Okay? So, and that's what we do as Software AG. We help over 10,000 customers worldwide to become truly connected enterprises. Okay? So, let's go into that. What are the superpowers you need to achieve? Okay, and how can you do that? By using a digital backbone. The first one is speed. You want to become like Flash, you know, heightened senses, going very fast, being very agile, especially with your time to market. That's what is really needed. So let's talk a little bit about time to market. What do you need to do? Well, the first thing is, I think, is you have to understand your digital landscape. Why? Well, you know, your digital landscape is probably 10, 20, 30 years old already. It evolved. And as such, it's probably taking up 80% of your budget, just by keeping the lights on, just doing what you always did. So where is the money to innovate? Where can you find the money to accelerate? That is by making your technical debt, which is basically your IT landscape, more efficient. You have to understand it. Are there licenses over there that you're not using anymore, that are duplicated over time? Are there licenses that are too many, you know, that you can scale down? But also, and that's for instance what we do with Alphabet as well, Alphabet is our portfolio management system that allows you to do this, is understand your journey to the cloud. You know, what is the low-hanging fruit? Where should you start? Where do you get the biggest bang for your buck? How are actually your contracts with AWS and Microsoft? Where do you get the biggest discounts? And how do they actually contribute to your goals? This will make your digital landscape much more efficient. And we have, for instance, a customer, a bank in Switzerland, that by starting using our technology, they were able, in the first half year, to reduce their maintenance costs on the existing infrastructure by 10%. Now, imagine that. If let's take the example, you have a 100 million budget, 80% is maintenance, that means 80 million. You take 10% out, that's 8 million. And now you have 8 million extra on your innovation budget. So that 10% decrease is a 30% increase in your innovation budget. Amazing stuff. Out of nothing. You can now accelerate faster. So keep that in mind. First step, understand your digital landscape, optimize it, get some money out of the maintenance and put it in your innovation to accelerate. So where can you use that money? Well, you use that money in understanding and optimizing your processes. You really have to understand how your processes are running before you can actually change them. So this is what we do with Aris. We have quite a big install base in South America. So if you want to know more about customers that are using this, please come to our booth. But just writing down how you want to be your process, how your process want to be, is one step. Nowadays, with the new technology, you can also monitor how those processes are actually running in your systems. And that's what we call process mining. So now you can start to understand, hey, I've created a process and I think it should be like this, but in reality, there's a strange step happening over here and people are looping over there and losing time. And now you can start optimizing. So process mining is a really interesting tool. And for instance, in Peru, we have a customer, Alicorp, who is in the food industry, a $2 billion company. But they are very diversified. They're in bakeries, they are in fishing. And so the SAP infrastructure is terribly complex. And with our technology, they are able to optimize the processes and in such way be more efficient and be more profitable. Good. Oh, wait a moment. Wait a moment, sorry, I went too fast. Can I go back? Yeah. So, what I want to say, I have now a small video. And that video, I've made together last year with the CIO of a brewery in the Netherlands. Because I found out that sometimes, look, for us it's hard to explain to you why you should go into a digital transformation. But I notice also that for CIOs, it's also very hard to explain sometimes internally why you should go on a digital transformation. So when I met him, I said, look, I will help you. We're going to make a video which explains to your internal organization why they should have a digital transformation. Okay? So let me introduce you Maurice Reijnen, CIO from Swinkels Brewery in the Netherlands.
My first job was being a bartender in Amsterdam. I loved it. More importantly, I learned how to socialize and empathize with people from all walks of life. Today, as head of IT for Royal Swinkels Family Brewers, I strongly believe that this is helping me to navigate our family business, steering it through one of its biggest challenges in 300-year history, digital transformation. Beer is like food. It's all about tasting and identity. We serve over 300 different types of beer in over 130 countries. Better meeting the needs of our customers and fulfill their wishes more precisely and faster, that's our challenge. And that's why we launched a program called the Intelligent Brewery. The Intelligent Brewery is about data and streamlining business processes, like order to cash and maintain to operate. It is a massive operation affecting all our breweries. But technology changes can only unleash their power if our employees change too. That's why it is so important for me to create a motivating environment where everyone is eager to learn and develop. I am Maurice Reijnen. I believe digital transformation is all about people.
Okay, great, thank you. Cool, huh? So, if you have a challenge by telling to your own organization why they should go on digital transformation, we might be able to help you, okay? Let's have that conversation. Good. So that's about understanding optimized processes. Once you have an understanding, what's the next step? Well, you have now to hyper-automate it. And that means you have to integrate your application landscape. Not only internally, but even also with your partners and your customers. So you have to have that kind of integration, what we call API management. Yeah? You have to create that API landscape in order to do so. And as such, we help many companies to do that. We have a brand called Web Methods, which is renowned for doing this. And it used to be, of course, that integration used to be quite a complex thing. You know, that was quite technical, where you need developers. But for the last years, what we have done is we have automated this and made it more easy, so that you have recipes that power users can use to actually, without the help of developers, create this kind of integrations and automate what they need to automate between themselves, between the partners, and between the customers. Like OXXO. You know OXXO? OXXO? Convenience store, 20,000 stores over here in Peru, in Chile, and in South America. They have integrated all their services with us. So that's the own services, like replenishment, but also if you go there and pay your utility bill, it will go through our integration system. Okay, so that kind of services, they have over 300 services like that automated, and they're still counting. So if you want to know more about that use case, and if that's interesting to you, come to our booth and we talk about it. Good. Now, that's about application landscape. I go a little bit fast because I only have 8 minutes left. So the next thing, this is very close to my heart, okay? Integration of things. If you have integrated your IT landscape, now you have to integrate your OT landscape, okay? And that's really the next thing. So, as Software AG, we're a German company, and Industry 4.0, as we call it, was made very important already in 2013. So we spent a lot of money and investment in this, and we have now a platform called Cumulosity, which is one of the leading ones in the world, and we do many, many use cases. So I've just written down a few over here, like supply chain optimization, smart cities. We have the smart city of Dubai, for instance, that is running our platform. We have utility metering. We have, I think, about 60 gigawatt of wind turbines under monitor. 60 gigawatts. So that's about 60,000 wind turbines around the world are connected to our system and monitored by the energy operators for their performance. So small use cases from even supply chain like your coffee machine all the way to the big ones. Okay. But there's one very dear to my heart, and that's in racing. Okay, you all like Formula 1 racing? I do. I love Formula 1. I mean, Max Verstappen is winning. Eh? That's a Dutch guy. I'm so proud of him. So that's since that I'm very into Formula 1. But Formula 1 is the only racing category that actually has connected cars, and it's really exciting, isn't it? You can see that on television. You can follow that. You can see it on the second. How fast they're going. What's the distance? It's an amazing feat. All the other categories in racing don't have it. They are not connected. And we said, why not? Why don't we democratize racing and create a connected racing strategy, connected racing cars for actually the entry-level races, for the new generation of racers? Why don't we give them the same benefits? And this is what we do in Belgium with a startup called ERA, Electric Racing Academy. So these are our cars. They're sponsored by us, so they have the logos. I'm so proud. I was there a few months ago watching the race. It was really cool. And this is actually what the startup team, Dieter and Bev, have to say about why they're doing this and what they're achieving with our technology.
I grew up close to Silverstone Circuit in the UK and fell in love with racing. Motorsport has been a huge part of my life ever since.
My passion for motorsport began as a teenager, racing at Circuits Holder in Belgium, and I still love it.
We believe that motorsport needs to transform and become more accessible, sustainable, and diverse.
With the Electric Racing Academy, we have created the world's first fully electric entry-class single-seater racing series. It's a place for startups and small to medium-sized enterprises to showcase their innovations.
Strategy is super important in electric car racing, and real-time data is the key to understanding if a strategy is working. That is why we connected the car to a Cumulosity IoT platform. All teams not only have real-time insight, but can even change settings during the race.
With ERA, we combine cutting-edge technology and sustainability. We create a pool of passionate talents that'll work their way up to the top levels of motorsport. I am Dieter van Zwegenhoven.
I'm Beth Giorgio.
And I am transforming motorsport for a better tomorrow.
The change needs to happen now.
Cool, eh? Female driving, female power in racing. Come on, that's really nice. Okay, yes, that's it from the time to market and the superpower speed. So once you have achieved your speed, okay, what's the next thing you want to do? Scale up. Go faster and scale up. Okay, and unfortunate, when people start early with their applications, sometimes it goes wrong. You have your small initial pilot and you end up with a burning platform. How come? Why? Well, when I speak to many people, I think they have the wrong conversation. They often talk about open source versus closed source. They talk about buy versus build. And this can be quite a hard conversation. No, it has to be open source because we need the freedom and these kind of conversations. And I think it's the wrong conversation to have. It's not about open source versus closed source. It's about delivery models. You need different delivery models during the life cycle of your product. And what do I mean with that? Well, if this is the maturity level over time, then once you grow, you need more sophistication. Okay. So when you start, the ideal model to start is SaaS. There's no doubt about it. It is just running in the cloud. You switch it on. It's a fast entry. It's self-service. It's out of the box. And most business users can use it. But when you grow over time, you get more needs. So then a PaaS, a platform as a service that is running dedicated for you in the cloud, might be more appropriate. That gives higher productivity, that gives you more flexibility, for instance, in how you solve your data needs, and you can support your power users that need more freedom. And when you get really big, you want this hybrid deployment model. You want to scale out on the enterprise level. You want your developers to be able to freedom to do whatever they want. They want the freedom to connect data sources on-premise with data sources in the cloud. And that's the conversation you need. Not buy or build. No, you need buy and build. And that's what we do. We support you in that journey. You can start as a SaaS, grow to a PaaS, and even to a hybrid deployment model. Good. Getting to the third one. This one is actually very easy. Okay, it's about people and mindset. You think about software often as technology. We as a software company, we are 50 years old. We only do software, and I tell you, it's not about the code. It's about the people behind it. You need motivated people. You need dedicated people. Okay, so the people are most important to this. If you have the right people, you're fine. And otherwise, you end up with just a bunch of code. And who wants to do that? And now I want to give you one word of warning. It's already happening in Europe, and I think it's going to happen in your region as well. The aging is going to hit you. It will be very hard to find the right resources. Yeah? And it doesn't only hit you in the fact that people will retire and you have to pay more for the social system and stuff like that, and we need more nurses. No, the first place where you see it hitting it is actually in the street, when you go to a restaurant. They will not have enough people to serve you anymore. It's happening on the airports already in Europe. Airports in Europe are chaos. Why? Because they can't find the security people anymore. They're just not there anymore. People disappear. Where has the workforce gone? So it's my message to you. If you want to have a truly connected enterprise, technology is important, but first make sure that you have the right people on board. Okay? And then you can be very successful. Good. So let's recap. To survive and thrive in this connected world, you need to become a truly connected enterprise. And you can do that by actually evolving your unique capabilities until it becomes your superpower. And we can help you to evolve your digital backbone. If you want to know, I showed you some videos today. I have some more. If you want to know how others are becoming truly connected enterprises, scan the QR code. And visit the website, and that might be very interesting for you to listen to them and how they do that. And with that, I'm done. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Bart. Thank you for your presentation. Very interesting. You talk about software is magic. But what about AI, artificial intelligence? That's the real magic today?
Absolutely. So AI, artificial intelligence, is creating fantastic magic. I'm not sure, have you already worked with DALL-E? DALL-E Mini? It's that kind of a tagline, or no, how you say that? Just a place where you write some words. And if you write those words like, I want you to create an old painting from Darth Vader from Star Wars in a green, flowery meadow or something strange. Within 5 seconds, it will create it for you. It's amazing. So look it up and try to experiment with it. It is giving you a mind-boggling idea of what AI is going to do in our world from a creative perspective. But in the end, I have to say, AI in the end is software. It's just software. It's lines of code. So also AI is software, and software is the real magic.
Thanks. You spoke about IoT as well. We heard already years about the advantage of making things smart. But we find it very hard to get a good business case and get the budget to start. And are we doing something wrong?
No, you're not. Everybody is struggling to find the right business case for Internet of Things. So the question is, how do I start with Internet of Things? I want to do it, but how can I actually prove it? It's very hard to do it because it's so disruptive as a technology. and it's very hard to predict the outcomes. So what I've seen some companies doing, like Mondelez, is what they do is they actually do it the other way around. They say, you get an innovation budget, X amount, and you try it. And after you have tried it, you start telling me how much of an innovation it gave you, how much of an optimization it gave you, how much of a gain it gave you. And then we decide if we continue. Okay? And that accelerates the story, because you're not trying to struggle to think about, oh, what kind of advantages will it give? Because it's so hard to imagine what it will give. So try fast, fail fast, but if it's successful, then you have your business case, and then you can defend further investments.
Thanks. Last, regarding product delivery models, I understand the software as a service as a platform and the platform as a service concept, but you can explain again why hybrid is the model for the most demanding environment?
Yeah, okay. So why is hybrid the most demanding model? Okay. The reason is, of course, is that the primary place where you want to run your application nowadays is cloud. We get that. However, we also start to realize that not everything can run in the cloud. If you have high workloads, continuous workloads, that are taking full amount of your computer power, why would you pay the extra amount to the cloud? You could do that much more efficiently on premise. There might be also security reasons why you run things on premises. Factories, for instance, will shut down any kind of internet because they don't want to be hacked. So you have to have your data sources on premise. So on premise, edge will stay forever and will become more important again. And that means that if you want to build any kind of solution, you have to take that hybrid world into account. You have to make sure that you build a solution that in the end that not can only run in the cloud, but can also deal with data loads on-premise, on the edge, and even on the thin edge. So on the thing itself.
Thanks. Por razones de tiempo no tenemos más preguntas para hacerle a Bart, así que thank you very much, Bart, for your presentation.
Thank you. Thank you for your attendance.
Your book.
My book. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Huh?
Thank you.
Thanks. Oh, the clicker.